So, Mark Vasko, give us your resume.
Well, it all started at a 40-watt radio station.
But sports anchor, sportscaster, sports play-by-play guy for who? The Joliet Jammers?
Slammers, you're close.
Slammers, Jammers,
yeah.
Wallabalammers?
Jammer was, the mascot, but, that's okay.
Huh.
No, let's see. This will be my 15th year broadcasting minor league baseball. I did Kane County for 5. Let's see, Cook County, which is now Windy City, for 2. This will be my 7th or 8th year, I guess, now in Joliet. So,
wow.
And then up the dial. I mean, BDM, the Score, all over the place.
Oh,
so,
sure, definitely.
Been knocking around for a while.
Well, you're also a noted Cub fan, and so that's why I wanted to talk to you this morning, because it just seemed like yesterday that pitchers and catchers were reporting to, Florida and Arizona for spring training, and you look at the calendar, and Monday is opening day.
Thank goodness.
Wow. And we'll talk a little bit about the Sox, but you and I are both Cub fans. I was born on the Northwest Side. I literally grew up a couple of blocks off of Addison, maybe about 5 miles from Wrigley. I mean, when I was 11 or 12, I remember in 6th grade, I think we skipped school and took a bus to the Cub opener.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, I am a Cub fan on both sides of my family for 3 generations.
Wow.
So, and my grandmother used to live in that high-rise, those little bits of high-rises at Clark and Irving.
Yeah.
My grandmother used to live there.
Wow, nice.
So a visit to my grandma's house was really cool because it always included a Cub game. We would, back in the day, it was like we would go and see my grandma on Ladies' Day.
Right. Yeah, remember Ladies' Day?
And walk the 4 blocks, literally, from her apartment to the ballpark. And it was great because we could park at her apartment building.
Remember Ladies' Day?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, wasn't it like half price or something?
It was a great thing, man.
Yeah, gosh, can you believe that? That's hilarious.
Well, that's the amazing thing about how far it's come when you think about when we were kids.
That's what I mean.
Because back in the day, when we would go, there was never a question of a sellout. The only question was whether or not they would open the upper deck.
Exactly. Yeah. No. Oh, and how about there was 2 times, especially throughout the most of the 70s and even the early 80s, but definitely during the 70s, during the Jim Marshall managers and the Dave Rosello second baseman period. I'm trying to think the Pat Burke first baseman.
Oh boy!
Well, there's the Gene Heiser years, if you will. In early April, and especially, you knew when school started, because once school started, Wrigley Field was empty. I mean, there was nobody there, so it was clear that it was kids and families going. And then once school started back then it used to start in September. And that place was a cemetery, both on the field and in the stands.
Well, it's so funny because not too long ago, I was talking to somebody about Dave Kingman.
Oh, Kong.
And so the beautiful thing about YouTube is you can find everything on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
So there was the one home run that he hit.
Oh, he hit that thing off a way. The thing was bouncing.
That it went across the street.
Unbelievable.
And the third house down, like Kenmore or whatever it was.
Unbelievable.
Well, that's on. If you can actually find that on YouTube. But what I noticed was there was nobody in the ballpark.
No, I said there was nobody there. People, people that are in their 20s or 30s, they think that neighborhood has always looked like that, and they think that field has always been a big frat party, filled to the gills. That place was a morgue for decades.
You never had to think about getting a ticket.
No,
you never had to for the Cub game. Okay,
you never had to think about sitting 3 rows from the field.
Oh, I know. I know. We used to go to all the Sunday doubleheaders too.
I mean, and think about it. The back then, the bleachers used to cost like $1. That was considered the worst seat. Now it's like $70. That's the best seat. Because since it was so far from the field, that was considered the worst seat. That's where all the deadbeats and all the bust outs would go because it was $1 and they drink beer and just get drunk.
Well, and see, that, I was thinking about that because now, I mean, obviously this season they have a chance to be really special. But the problem is no one's going to be able to get in to see it.
Oh, I know. Have you read? So tell us a little about, I mean, I want to certainly talk about their chances as a team, but can you expand a little? This week there was some interesting news about the physical plant of Wrigley, and it's never easy to get in there regardless.
Well, no. Well, I was actually talking more about ticket prices because they've priced everybody out.
Oh, yeah. Well, they've been waiting for this day for 107 years.
So, exactly. So now it's finally a chance for them maybe to do something special. Well, I'm only going to be able to watch it on television.
Yeah.
Because I can't. I mean, it's $50 is the medium range ticket to get in.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really shocked. I mean, a Cub ticket used to be very affordable. It really was, and it's funny to see, as I said, to see the bleachers. But what I was talking about, I don't know if you heard about it or read about it.
Oh, right. No, absolutely. I've done all sorts of work. I mean, well, I'm going to miss the McDonald's. I can tell you that.
Yeah, the McDonald's is gone, huh?
I know.
Is it gone? I saw a picture in the paper. It doesn't even. You could see all the way down the street. There's no buildings anywhere.
Yeah. No, it's gone. It's completely gone.
So that whole street is empty.
Yep. That's all a big one construction fence.
So they even got rid of that makeshift. A memorabilia store too.
Right. Yep.
Wow.
It's all.
Yeah, I haven't been down there since all that's happened, and I know they're going to get the marquee back on. But apparently, Cub fans, they're going to be opening up for 7:00 games. They're going to be opening up the field early at about 4:30 because there is going to be a much stricter entrance for tickets and with metal detectors and security. And it's always tough to get into Wrigley Field anyway.
Well, and now, like you say, it's all under construction. The 7-Eleven's gone.
The donut place is gone, right?
Yeah, it's either gone.
Is the big macaroni gone? You know that bad. The last couple of years, they had that big macaroni there for the mac and cheese thing.
Yes, thank goodness that's gone.
Yeah,
I was not a big fan of that.
Yeah, no, but I mean, what's going to be cool? I mean, especially for those of us who have been at Wrigley, going there for 20 or 30 or 40 years, scarily. I mean, that in another 5 or 6 years, that's going to be incredible to see.
Oh, it is. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait. But in the meantime, right now it's a construction zone.
Yeah, well, that's the way it was. If you watched the 10 Commandments last week, it's not easy to build a city. Okay? It takes a while to get those pylons and those obelisks up. So, it takes a little manpower.
Especially in Chicago.
Yeah, they did, in 10 Commandments, Moses didn't build Goshen in a day.
No, he did not.
No. But apparently they've built a lot of the stuff underground with the clubhouse and all that. But Wrigley Field certainly in the next 3 or 4 years is going to be a completely different experience. And it's already, a cool place to visit, but it's going to really be a very dynamic area of the city, which, like I said, it already is. It's just going to be even more. But
I am happy for the players because that was an embarrassment of a locker room.
Oh yeah,
I mean, literally, high school locker rooms were bigger than that. Cubs.
So, as a Cub fan, and we don't have all that much time, but as a Cub fan, can you believe that you're really saying with legitimacy that the Cubs are a World Series contender? That's not just drinking the Cubs Kool-Aid. That's legit.
Well, I was looking at the lineup. I mean, Kyle Schwarber is going to bat 6th. Addison Russell's going to bat 7th. Now, think of any other lineup in the majors where Schwarber would bat 6th and Russell would bat 7th, which tells you how good their lineup is. That's why it's not a joke.
Yeah, I mean, and then they've strengthened the pitching rotation. That's it. That's a formidable pitching rotation.
Well, they have. Well, not just, absolutely. And then think about the other thing is Baez starts up on a DL, but he's going to come back, in like a week. And Soler, they have Baez and Soler who can't even get into the starting lineup.
Right.
And they'd be starting for anybody else. They basically have 10 starters for 8 positions.
Man. I mean, this is a team that you can honestly say, aside from all the usual spring training, preseason optimism. I mean, don't get me wrong. People have to have very good years. We had some amazing career seasons from Jake Arrieta. Look at the way Bryant came out of the box as a rookie. That he had a great season for a 15-year veteran.
No doubt about it.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of people. Rizzo certainly has to continue. Hayward is a great acquisition. Lester continue, hopefully, and now Lackey. I mean, they've got the pieces there. But at the same time, the Cardinals are definitely weakened, and the Cubs helped weaken them.
Exactly, and they're not too happy about that.
Yeah, but at the same time, they are still the champs, and they still have to be beaten. But I'll tell you, this is the first time in my lifetime when I can honestly say, I mean, I remember, in '84, the year that they lost, and then the next year there was so much hope, and that season quickly, with injuries, became a disaster in '85. But this year, with the youth and the talent and Madden, and it's just it feels legit. It feels real. It feels like the Cubs are a true contender. And to say that, if you've been a longtime Cub fan,
right,
without either a smirk or some ridiculous pie in the sky optimism, is really it's an oddity.
Well, I was actually looking back at the '69 Cubs. That's how far back I'm going to go. If you look at this year's roster and look at how many guys are All-Stars or you think will be All-Stars, I mean, there's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a high number. How many players on the 1969 Cubs, take a guess, were or would eventually be All-Stars, would you guess?
Oh, the '69 Cub? They had I would say 5 to 6.
12.
Well, they've got 5. They've got 4 or 5 Hall of Famers.
Well, exactly.
And they still never won.
That's how good that team was. I went back and looked at it. There were 12
That's amazing.
players on that roster.
Yeah, the Cubs
were or would be All-Stars.
The Cubs used to always have a lot of All-Stars. It was always this great dichotomy that they had all these All-Stars and never did anything.
Right. But that's why they were in first place for all of that time.
Yeah.
Before they fell apart.
So
that was not a freak. But I'm saying this. But if you compare that roster to this, there could be, legitimately 8 or 9 All-Stars before these guys are done with their careers. Legitimately.
So very quickly, be honest now. How many victories you think? They had 97 last year. What do you think they get this year?
97 is hard. I mean, they could actually be a better team and not win 97, if that makes any sense.
Oh, definitely. That's what I was wondering. Where do you think they might come in?
I'm going to say 94.
Okay.
Because it's not going to be a big drop-off. It's just that's just a hard number to get back to.
And real quick now, Duncan Keith with the Blackhawks.
Oh, my.
Gets a 6-game suspension, the first game of the playoffs, whoever that may be against. We lose him. I believe it was deserved. In fact, I think he got off lucky and got off soft because I believe if he had done what he did and swung his stick at that player purely out of revenge and vindictiveness. If that's January and that happens, I bet you he's suspended for 10 to 12 games.
Well, he's lucky that only it was a bloody nose that came out of it.
Oh yeah, that guy could have really been seriously injured, if not even worse.
There's no question
for what he did. So, what do you think? We've got Corey Crawford with a mysterious upper body injury, which everybody says is either vertigo or something else. We've got Patrick Kane cooling off a little. We've got Duncan Keith out, and yet we are the defending champs. What do you think the chances are?
Oh, I still think they're good. From what I hear, Crawford's coming back for the first round of the playoffs, whatever this is. The upper body, which is all the way up to the very top, as in the scalp, probably.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, I think the Blackhawks, they always go through these kind of late season swoons, and they do have a new lineup. I mean, Stan Bowman went crazy at the trading deadline and really changed up the lineup in some key spots. So hopefully a lot of that's going to gel. I'm still hoping that they go deep in the playoffs. It's never easy to repeat, as they've learned each time.
But they're going to do it. I just think there's too much talent. Again, I think, as I told you the last time I was out with you, they've played more hockey games than any other team in the NHL in the last 6 years.
Yeah.
And that takes its toll. There's going to be dog days. You can't get up for every single one, but they will.
Yeah. And I really do love when they turn a switch in the playoffs, and hopefully without Keith, at least for only one game it is, but it's really fun to watch them play in the playoffs. They really become a real good hockey team. It's really fun to watch.
I can't wait for the games to matter, and that's going to be very soon. So.
Well, Mark Vasko, it's always fun to talk to you. I appreciate your insight into the Cubs. We're diehard Cub fans. This is the year, pal. This is the year. Hey, it's Mark Vasko. Hey. But so we're going to keep the faith, and hopefully, come October, we will see those brown vines in the World Series.
I'm all for that.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me, Mark. I appreciate you staying up.
Thank you.
Take care. Mark Vasko, you'll hear his voice around the town here in Chicago. My name is Elton Jim Turano.